Welcome. So today we are still continuing our same unit of 6:1 ratios. And then we're going to do a new lesson today, which is lesson number 4, which is using tables to compare ratios. So let's say interpreting. Tables to compare ratios. And so when we think about the vocab I chose, interpreting is a fancy way of saying reading or analyzing, but we're going to look at the table, we're going to think about what the data is telling us after we build it, and then we're going to use it to answer some questions. But we do have some changes to make. So your first question today says Caleb is placing beehives on acres in the peach orchard. We just wanted to switch up our numbers a little bit because this is actually a problem off your homework, and I want to make sure that we have enough examples to look at. So instead of saying Caleb placed 5 for every 2 acres, let's change this. Caleb placed 3 beehives for every 1 acre on the peach orchard. But then he placed, nope, that's not the number I want. He placed 7 beehives for every 3 acres on the apple orchard. And we're going to compare those ratios using tables. So we changed 5 to 3, 2 to 1, and 8 to 7. So just keep that in mind. Okay, so working with our modified problem, we have 2 different orchards. We have peach orchard and we have the apple orchard. Let's first focus on our peach orchard, which is 3 beehives for every 1 acre in the peach orchard. So peach orchard, start with the original ratio, and we need a label. So beehives to acres, and then that original ratio is going to go in there of 3 to 1. We can go ahead and build our table with that skip counting. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now in the apple orchard, it looks a little different. It is 7 to 3. So we still need a label. Beehives to acres. And I want you guys to fill out this table on your own. So pause the video, fill it out, then come back and join me again. Okay, if you have this filled out, you should have had 7 and 3. And then going down beehives, it'd be 7, 14, 21, 28, 35. And acres are 3, 6, 9, 12, and 15. So now we have a question to answer. And this question says, which orchard has more beehives per acre and why? So what we have to do is we have to look at our tables and find something to compare. And in order to compare, we need to find something the same. So we can look down the beehives on both sides and see, do we have the same amount of beehives at any point in time? And I look and I don't see any of our tables that have the same number for beehives. So let's look at acres. Do I see the same number of acres anywhere? And I do. I have 3 acres in my peach orchard, and I have 3 acres in my apple orchard. So that is something I can compare. If I have the same amount of acres, I'm looking at just which one has more beehives, 9 or 7. Well, clearly 9 is more. So which has more beehives per acre? The peach orchard. And then we have to say why. So we can't just say peach. Peach orchard is not answering our question fully. So I know it's because, you always got to write because if there's a why. And then you got to tell me why. Because 9 beehives was more than 7 in the same amount of space. Okay, so you write down your own interpretation, but it's something along the lines of when they both have 3 acres, the peach orchard has more beehives than the apple orchard. And that's proven to us in our tables right here. Our second problem has our tables built for us. But we still have a question. It says, Marlene and Nikki are jogging. Use the tables to determine who jogged faster. Okay, so let's look at our tables and see if we have anything in common. So we're going to look at laps first. I see 3, 5, 12, 17. Okay, well, I don't have any of the same numbers, so that's not helping me this time. Let's look at minutes. 18, 30, 72, 102. 12, 21, 30. Ooh, 30. I see 30 in both. So 30, I can use this to compare. And now if I'm answering the question, who jogged faster? I need to make sure I think about this logically. Marlene did 5 laps in 30 minutes, while Nikki did 20 laps in 30 minutes. Well, if I know anything about running, I know that 20 laps is way more work than just 5 laps. So Nikki has to be running faster. And we're going to say why, because we should always say why. So pretend that question is there. So we're going to add the word because to our answer. And it's because she ran more laps in the same amount of time. So she's faster. So you need to write down any variation of that answer, and I expect that on your paper. Now finally, I want to just take a minute to look at the homework. You guys have this assignment, and there's only 3 questions on it, so it's not super long. And it's exactly like what we just did in class. You have a problem, you're going to make 2 tables, you're going to answer a question, and you're going to explain. If you need to extend your table to answer your question, the backside is blank. You can go ahead and flip your paper over and keep building. But just keep that in mind, right? So we need to answer all of these questions thoroughly and completely. Whatever you don't finish in class is homework.